I remember in school taking a test on a Scantron. It was quite stressful. Not that I didn't know the answer, but I was afraid this thing would get the wrong answer by going through the computer. They would always give you that example over there on the right of how to exactly do it. And I'd be worried, well, if I color outside the lines, it's going to mess it up, or if I don't color in enough, it's going to count it wrong. And I would sit there and look at each one and try to stressfully make sure it looked just like the example. At work, I'm always talking to groups about what something should look like, and I tell them, here is an example of what you should say or what it should look like. At home, I'm always trying to be a good example of a husband or a father so that my son learns how to do things. And then, in life, I'm just trying to be a good example of what a Christian should look like to others. So I started looking in the Bible, and I found the word example many places in the Bible. And today what I want to do is us just to go through some of those scriptures and look at how examples should be used and examples that we should follow. Let's start with this one from Philippians 4:9. Put into practice the example of all that you have heard from me or seen in my life, and the God of peace will be with you in all things. But speaking the truth in love in all things, both our speech and our lives expressing His truth, let us grow up in all things into Him, following His example, who is the head, Christ. One of my favorite scriptures, Psalm 1:1. Happy are those who reject the advice of evil people, who do not follow the example of sinners or join those who have no use for God. 1 Timothy 4:12. Let no one look down on you because of your youth, but be an example and set a pattern for believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in moral purity. Dear brothers and sisters, pattern your life after mine, and learn from those who follow our example. The question I want us to think about today is, whose example are you following? Better yet, what kind of example are you setting for those who are watching you? Understand that every one of us have someone who looks up to us and is watching our example of how we live, how we speak, and how we treat others. There's no better time than today than to start to be a better example of who Christ is.